Today we're talking my top 5 traditional gas fireplaces. In the last couple years, traditional shaped gas fireplaces made a huge comeback. We're getting them spec'd in all the time now. Used to always be the long skinny ones. Problem is there's so many to choose from. That's what I'm here for. Today I'm breaking down our top 5 traditional gas fireplaces. Let's roll, baby. We're talking direct vent fireplaces. So these are fully sealed fireboxes that pull their own outside air. Now, direct vent fireplaces are by far our most popular selling gas fireplaces. And the reason is because they're easy to install. They can always terminate horizontally out a sidewall or go up through a roof. So install is relatively easy. It's just a matter of sizing and what's going to actually fit. Price range of what we're going to be talking about today is probably anything between $4,000 up to, you could probably get up to 12 to 13 if you really went crazy on one of these units. So that's what you can expect to see sort of price range in these units. All right, so coming in at number 5 is going to be the Valor H3. Now this falls in at number 5 because this unit's really what we call a problem solver. So Valor in general, specifically, solves a lot of problems, not so much on what we're physically seeing, but on the install side. So this would be the fireplace I would recommend where if you're doing like a retrofit or something where you want to redo the fireplace around as minimally as possible without a ton of construction, this can fit and install into a lot of really tight places. Now, normally the problem is when we do fireplaces in a really snug space, they're like total junk fireplaces. They're like super base grade. That's why this came in at number 5, because it checks those boxes. It's really, really easy and simple to install, but it's more of a premium unit that puts off a ton of heat and has a handful of aesthetic options. So for example, we have the bronze frame. If you don't like that and you're immediately off put by it, just ignore that because we'll show you some overlays. There's a ton of different options if you want to dress this up with like more of a modern feel, or you can do a traditional log set. Comes with remote standard, you can add blower, but this is like the best of both worlds. It's like one of our only units that is easy to install, but still has premium features, if that makes sense. So that's why the H3 came in at number 5. All right, coming in at number 4 is gonna be the Napoleon Altitude series. So what do we love about the Altitude series? Honestly, here at Embers, we really don't do a ton of fireplaces where we are selling like base grade units like in track home development. That's really not our business. We sell those units, but it's very rare. So this is sort of our starting point unit. And the reason this is so popular is it's really, really aggressively priced. Comes fully loaded with remote control and night light. Comes loaded with blower. And then it's gonna give us all of our log set options and then all of our brick set options that we're gonna talk about. And then we have a bunch of finishing frame options. So there's really nothing out on the market that's this well priced, that's this feature rich. And it's a medium heater. I would say it's gonna heat respectably. It's not the best heater we have, definitely not the worst heater we have, but we sell a ton of these. This is sort of our entry level unit here at Embers because it's like our feature rich unit that really is a really good bang for your buck. So if you're on a tight budget and you don't want something super base grade, this would probably be where I'd start you out at. All right, coming in number 3 is gonna be the Napoleon Elevation X series. Okay, why is this one ranked so high? Well, the Napoleon Elevation X is really one of our best sellers because it checks a lot of boxes. It's super feature rich, it looks fantastic, and it's modestly priced. So let's go over some of the features. So this is the 42-inch model, comes in 2 sizes, the 36 and the 42. Now it's a little bit confusing. Napoleon loves to confuse us with way too many SKUs, and they're doing it again. So they have the Elevation and the Elevation X. All right, so if you're confused at home what you need, the Elevation X is the fully loaded model, which is gonna give you remote control, LED lighting, and blower. The basic Elevation is stripped down. It doesn't have any of those features. So we're showing off the X, which I think is the model to get, because as soon as you start adding features, you're better off just buying the fully loaded model. So what features does it have? So we can change our log sets to 3 different logs. So this is the split oak is what we have in here. And you can see our burner is an elevated kind of stadium style burner, which I think is really important because when you have a firebox this tall, the problem is we have too much empty space. So we're not really filling up the box. So I really like those logs being elevated on a log grate. And then what's really cool is we can turn down this unit and then we can shut the rear burner off 50%. And then from there, we can turn the front burner down another 50%. So it's really giving us fully premium features that you normally only see on really high-end units. So that's an option here. Let me turn that back on for you. So we also have backlighting that shines up on those bricks, and you can control that on here as well. And then we also have underbed LED floor lighting that will shine up through the logs. We can turn that on and off, fully thermostatically controlled. We can change out the brick options, so you can do a really modern, like black reflective, 3 or 4 different brick options. And then also we can change this frame out. You can do it frameless, or you could do it with these finishing frames that we have here, and these come in a variety of colors. So that's why this unit is so popular and probably one of our best sellers. It's probably the only thing that like has all of these features that's still relatively well priced, if that makes sense. It's probably our best priced unit for how feature rich it is. There isn't anything else that has all these features at this price. So if you're somewhat on a budget, but you want as many features as possible, this is probably the unit I would steer you towards. All right, coming in number 2 is gonna be the Mendota FullView series. Now this has gotten really, really popular lately. What they tried to do is sort of this landscape style, and I kind of call them more hybrid units because they're not the long, skinny, you know, super modern traditional fireplaces, or not traditional, contemporary. And they're not our big, tall, square traditionals either. They're more like a rectangular shape. Now this one in specific is the FullView 36 model. Now they say they modeled this off of masonry fireplaces in the 70s and 80s that was built with every house. All those fireplace openings were 36 by 24. That's what this size is. That's why a lot of people are drawn to this exact size, why it's one of our better selling sizes, is it just immediately makes you feel like a traditional masonry fireplace shape. So it comes in the 34, which is the smallest, which has, you can order arched or rectangular. Really good problem solver again for tight spaces. Then we have the 36, only comes in rectangle. We have the 42, which is the same height, just wider. And then there's even a wider size, the 48, which is really starting to bridge the gap between those linears and the other ones. As far as functionality goes, if you are looking for the very best heater that you can get, not that fireplaces can buy, that you can buy, this brand, Mendota, is like the world's best heating fireplace like ever made. That's proclaimed by me. I proclaimed it, crowned it, world's best heating fireplace. They come from a company called Johnson Gas, which in the early 1900s made industrial furnaces. So making heat is literally in their blood, and they are darn good at it. It is the best heater. They are furnace rated, they can heat an entire home, and then they give us a ton of cool wall options too. So what's really nice with these sizes and why people are really going towards them is so many people are doing TVs above them. So you usually need a cool wall kit, so heat option kit, which they have, because they get way too hot to the touch. Like this thing's just ripping. Like you wouldn't want to put a TV above it the way it is. So a ton of install options there and flexibility. They also make 2 square models, which is going to be the FullView 41 and the FullView 46. Now, like I mentioned with the Elevation, the problem is those boxes get so tall that we end up with a lot of dead space. Mendota solved that problem with their fire-in logs. Those are 2 brand new units that are coming out. What that does is it actually looks like the flames are coming out of the logs themselves, and it really helps fill up that firebox. Everything comes fully loaded. You can really only get Mendotas fully loaded, which is what I like. They are just focused on premium, 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 and you're gonna pay for it. But everything comes with twin blowers in there. Now what I like about their blower system, a lot of people will advertise twin blowers, but what they're gonna be is 2 squirrel cage blowers running off the same motor. All right, what Mendota does is 2 twin blowers that are running off independent motors. What does that do? It creates a higher CFM, helps move more air, while also reducing the noise. All right, so that's part of what you're paying for. The other thing is these units are literally physically a lot more heavy than other fireplaces. The steel is thicker, which I think helps radiate more heat, produce more heat, and then you also don't get like that crackle and pop from the metal expanding. And then what's really cool, like for example, if I shut this one off, secretly shutting off because I'm just so hot. When that metal is that thick, all these fireplaces will do it, but if you really care about efficiencies, this thing is gonna radiate heat for like at least 30 minutes, minimum, and you're not using any fuel. It's just because that firebox and that steel is so thick and it's so hot, it's gonna like be a heat pump into the room. That's not even taking into equation when they rate these based on efficiencies. I just figured that out myself because I have one of them, and it just literally just pumps heat even after it's shut off. It's like, you kidding me? So there's performance. Aesthetics. Again, they make like the world's most amount of fronts. We can do super skinny, we can do like medium, we can do really wide, we can do chrome, we can do copper, we can do like a brushed, we can do black, we can do like a vintage copper, we can even do like a distressed leather, like a hammered leather finish if you want to go real rustic, if you really want to get cute with it. That's what I love about this fireplace is you really just pick the box, and then once you pick the box, we can dress it out to whatever you want it to look like. It can literally fit whatever your decor is. Once we get on the inside, same thing. We got that 2-stage burner system in all of these units. So we can shut off the rear burners. We have the most amount of temperature control. And then same thing, we can choose, we have 3 or 4 different log set options. I think 3 or 4 different brick panel options. And then what's really cool is they also offer, not in every size, but like for example in the 36, they offer more of a contemporary burner. So you can see we have more of a flat burner in here. So if you want to just crush glass and want it to be super modern, it's just a different look. Like if you look at these two side by side, the burner is more integrated in the log set here, and it's more that 2-stage stadium burner that we talked about, versus the 36 when we go to the contemporary, you can order it either way. It's going to be just that flat burner in there and just that pan burner, and we can trim it out however we like. So I would recommend the Mendota fireplace if you just want the most amount of heat possible. And then as just a side benefit, they're also one of the most attractive units. So you're really getting the best of both worlds. The only negative is they're just really expensive, but they're not trying not to be. They're literally just trying to make the world's best fireplace. So should we get to number 1? All right, coming in at number 1 is gonna be the Heat and Glow 6000 and 8000 series. These units have been a staple for a long time. And to me, they've really creeped up the charts to number 1 because they've done a lot of cool things with it. And there's one staple feature about this unit that I'm gonna get to that is my absolute favorite. Full integrated remote control with all of these. They're kind of like the Napoleon Elevation where you could order it stripped down if you wanted to. For me, like, I like the fully loaded version, and you know, it's reasonably priced, but with the fully loaded version, you're gonna get full function remote control. You're gonna have night lights, blowers are standard, and then again, you can choose the fit and finish. Now the 8000 series is the bigger one. So this is gonna be the 42-inch. Now, they made like this clean face design, and it's like one of the biggest viewing areas I've ever seen on a 42-inch fireplace. So it really maximizes your viewing window. And kind of like we were talking about with the Mendotas, you can order it with a contemporary burner or like a traditional log set. So this one, for example, we have the birch logs with the black reflective glass panels in the background, which I would say is the most popular if you like the birch log set, because it really contrasts nicely with the black reflective. The only thing this thing's really missing is it doesn't have the 2-stage burner system. So we only have a 50% turn down rate. And again, we can trim it out with a bunch of fit and finishes on the fronts, things like that. Also, there is a Wi-Fi dongle you can purchase for this thing. If you want it to be connected to a home system or something like that, you can do that with these guys. And also from a performance standpoint, really, really solid heaters. They're not as good of heaters as Mendota, but we have a ton of cool wall kit options. So for you want to do TVs, or actually do a heat dump and actually dump heat outside. I know it's crazy, but houses today are built so tight that a lot of people are actually just dumping the heat outside. So I know you said, well, it doesn't heat as good as Mendota, doesn't have the 2-stage burner. Trevor, why is it ranked number 1? Let's get to that. I'm glad you asked. All right, so my absolute favorite feature about this fireplace, and actually, to be honest with you, it's like my favorite feature like in any fireplace. And I wish more manufacturers would do it. But to me, the absolute game changer of this fireplace is the anti-reflective glass. So this actually is a sealed unit, but it literally looks like you can go in and stick your hand in it, but it has a safety screen on it with a piece of glass on it. And this is the 6000, which is the smaller series, but I think it's really well contrasted, specifically when you do bricks. I think you lose a little bit of it with the black reflective, but when you have like brick panels in there with the night lights on them, it just gives it like a sense of depth, like it's an open, like masonry fireplace. For example, if you contrast it with this unit up above, If you look at them side by side, that's when you can really see the difference. And to me, fireplace performance, of course, is important. You know, we want good heat. These have that. We want good aesthetic options. This has that. We want controllability. This has that. But to me, what takes this over the top and really makes it the #1 fireplace is it literally fools you like it's an open fireplace. The open style fireplaces are really coming back in style. There's not a lot of good install solutions for those, and you're gonna pay an ultra premium price tag for it. So this is the best of both worlds. It's gonna give you a fireplace that looks like an open hearth unit, like a traditional open masonry firebox, but it's not. And to me, that makes it #1, because the more we can create the illusion that it's an open hearth fireplace, the better, because that's really what people are after in a traditional market, is that open hearth look. And this perfectly replicates that. So to me, that puts it over the edge, and it's reasonably priced. Again, it's gonna be on the premium side, but not the most expensive. It literally checks every single box. Therefore, it's #1. All right, and if we love that invisible look, but we prefer more of like an arched firebox, they do make a specific unit, the Sirona, which comes with the arched setup. So it's a very unique unit, more niche. Don't sell a ton of these, but if you're after this arched look, they have that option for you. So this is the honorable mention. This is the Astria Citadel fireplace, which is gonna be the open wood burner with a gas log set. What's cool about this unit, it has real brick panels in it. Now, a lot of people, what's becoming more and more popular, a lot of people are asking for what we call an open hearth unit. Now, when I say open hearth, it's literally got nothing in it. It's just an open firebox that you can stick your hand in. What are your options here? So we basically have 2 options. These are actually prefabbed steel fireboxes that have real masonry panels in them. So this is real brick in here, and it comes in a bunch of different sizes. And it's actually using big wood venting. So these are just big old-fashioned wood fireplaces. And what we do is we plumb gas to it and put in a gas log set. The only problem with this is the pipe is humongous. And because they're wood burning fireplaces technically, some jurisdictions are gonna give you fits about them, even though you're burning gas only. And then it's not pulling any air from the outside, so it is gonna pull air from the room. The other alternative we have are our Stellar open hearth units, and those come strictly rated for gas only. So those are a little bit easier to install, but both of them are going to be premium options. You're gonna be, I would say, 15 grand and over for anything that you want in an open hearth unit. As far as install goes, I'm gonna say half a day to a full day, depending on the scope of work. Totally depends if it's like a fresh new construction install and there's no framing involved, and it's literally what we call a set and vent, where you're setting the unit and venting it. That could be a half day. Otherwise, it could be 2 to 3 day project, depending if there's framing, anything like that. Install costs. That's a dangerous question to ask, because this industry is nationwide, and I've seen prices all over the place. I've seen them from $500 to $6,000 just in labor. So I would say somewhere in the middle of there is probably a decent rate. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. We'll see you guys next time.